Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Skift Vice President of Research, Haixia Wang.
All right, so welcome back. I can see people still coming in. Take your time. For the next few minutes, I will present a few findings from our recently published Millennial and Gen Z Traveler Report. For those of you who are not familiar with the Skift research, Skift research is part of Skift's paid subscription product. Skift's mission is really to explore the frontier for travel. I think you heard that in many different kind of versions. That's what we try to do. And at Skift Research, we bulletproof that mission with the data. So we provide data and insights and competitive benchmarks to our clients across many travel sectors. Many of you have already, been here for the entire day. So earlier this afternoon, two of our analysts are already on stage. Walter Gears presented his short-term rental landscape reports, and Seth Borko introduced you to two fast-growth travel startups. Megan Carty, who is actually the author of the Millennial Gen Z report, is sitting right over there, monitoring all your Slido questions. A very important job for the day and a half. So that's our entire research team. So a majority of our consumer trends reports are based on our primary surveys. This year alone, we've already conducted and published survey findings on US affluent travelers, experiential travelers, food tourism, and Millennial and Gen Z travelers. So far, Millennial and Gen Z traveler study is our biggest research effort in scope and depth. So we surveyed travelers 16 to 38 in Australia, China, India, UK, and the US. And because these two cohort groups include people spanning across large age gaps and the life stages, we further segment the population, the sample population, into 4 subsegments: young Gen Z 16 to 18, old Gen Z 19 to 22, young millennial 23 to 30, and old millennial 31 to 38. The scope of the study, we surveyed, we asked questions encompassing the entire traveler journey. How much do they travel? How do they research? How do they book? Where do they go? What do they do in destination? What influences their travel decisions, etc.? So all those questions. So the end product is a report of 217 slides, jam-packed with a lot of data. So I will briefly touch upon 2 themes surfaced from the survey. The first theme is culture often has a bigger impact in shaping an individual, a person's behavior and attitude than generational cohorts. Some of you might have joined us at our first Asia Forum back in May. In my presentation then, I talked about how young Asian consumers will lead the future of global travel because of their size and because of their rising middle-class lifestyle. Chinese millennial population is already bigger than the entire US population, and so is India's. So these young consumers in these countries have a very outward global mindset, and they are very fast in adopting any new trends. So our Millennial and Gen Z study further demonstrates these trends. So the respondents in our survey, basically it's really this division between China, India, and Australia, UK, and the US. For most parts, they differ greatly. Chinese, first of all, for Chinese and Indian travelers, they are a truly mobile-first generation. So for trip planning, including your researching and booking, 71% of Chinese travelers and 67% of Indian travelers said they use the smartphones only or used smartphones mostly, compared to 50% of Australians and Britons and 53% of Americans. Travel is associated with the middle-class lifestyle that young people in emerging markets are aspiring to. So they're very curious and want to see and experience the world beyond what they know. 80% of Chinese travelers consider travel as a necessity. That's comparing to less than 30% of those in Australia, UK, and the US. The number for India is also impressive at 43%. And with that, they're also very keen on seeking truly authentic local connection and experience. So when asked to rank the importance of a list of activities while traveling, close to 90% of Chinese and Indian travelers said it's important for them to connect with the locals. And almost all of them said it's important to taste the food or drink that is a specialty of the destination, much higher than the other three markets. Growing up in an era of very fast new tech boom and emerging really rising economic power, Chinese and Indian young population, they experience tech at a much faster pace, and also they are more open to any of the new tech opportunities. Roughly, it's about 67-72, roughly 70% of Chinese and Indian travelers said they are comfortable using a voice assistant to book a vacation if given the option. That's more than double of those in the other three markets. And they're also heavy social media users, and they're more likely to follow travel-related accounts and influencers on social media. Another big takeaway of the study is there are significant differences among more nuanced age segmentations. You know, the young Gen Z, old Gen Z, there's a way we should segment them. However, these differences need to be looked at through the lens of culture and life stage. Specifically in this study, we found that for Australians and Americans, old Gen Z and young millennials share many similar traits due to similar age, cultural context, and life stage. However, in China and India, age is a strong indicator of financial and professional success. So being older in these countries means much more resources and capital. So old millennials and young millennials in these countries tend to lead the trends instead of their much less established Gen Z followers. For UK, we needed to ask Walter to write a report on why there's no clearly defined trends. Or maybe the fact that Brexit is happening is enough a reason why it's all over the place. So you will see a few examples next. So I'll show you 3 examples here. For social media marketing, so here, Australia and the US, old Gen Z and young millennials, they lead the pack. They are more likely to follow travel-related accounts and influencers. And for China and India, it's old millennials and followed by young millennials and Gen Z. For UK, remember this, it's the youngest, Gen Z, who are more likely to follow travel-related accounts or influencers. And then for alternative accommodation, again, Australia, US, old Gen Z and young millennials lead the pack. They are more likely to stay in short-term rentals, alternative accommodations. For China and India, old millennial, young millennial, and Gen Z. For UK this time, it's millennials who lead. They are more likely to stay in short-term rentals, but the differences among the 4 segments are not as marked as the other countries. Adventure travel experience. Again, same trend here, Australia, US, old Gen Z, young millennials, they lead. And for China and India, As age goes up, they're more likely to have resources to do more, including adventure travel. And for UK, this time, it's Gen Z who are more likely to say they have adventure travel experience. So this ends my very short presentation of the study. If you want to know more, feel free to talk to Megan over there or any of us on Skift research team. Now, a couple notes on logistics. We have a special offer to all attendees if you're interested in subscribing to Skift Research. So the promo code is SGF for 2019. You get 25% off for your first year subscription. And we really appreciate all the supports we get from our research subscribers. A reminder to those clients who are invited to our champion toast tomorrow at 8 a.m. So that's a little early, but everyone should be here. I hope. Mimosa, you can't say no to that, right? At a pale room. And finally, you know where we are. So what mission you see over stage, I've mentioned many times. Talk to us at Skift Inspiration Center if you have any questions. So enjoy the rest of your presentations and sessions.